I would like to see more young black men and women apply to the fire service. I know it's tough getting in. I know it's very costly getting in, and that could be some of the problem. That could be some of the reasons why we're not seeing the numbers of applicants.
Other reasons may include not seeing firefighting as a career.
You know, our blacks immigrate from other countries. Um, Most of their fire services are volunteer, so they don't really see it as a career here, right? Or their parents don't really see it as a career. They see it as, okay, like you're going to go out and put fires, but what are you going to do for money? What are you going to do for life?
Firefighter Frank Jones had an eye-opening experience on his second shift, demonstrating how important representation is.
A young black boy and his mother were there, and I think we were just grabbing a quick bite to eat, and got off the truck, and she sees me and stops, and I see her and stop, and I could tell she was just like, her mouth was open. She was like, I have never seen a black firefighter before. And it was a great feeling for me, because I was like, oh, that's awesome. And she kind of turned to her son and she said, how we were talking about your job, you could do this. Like, this is something you could do. And he was like, I love fire trucks, and just went on. And it was just a very, very great exchange. And I'll never forget that.
Former fire education officer Michael Harrison would like to see education start sooner for young people of color, with visual materials that include them.
I think that's one of the reasons. It's just never a job opportunity or a channel right from day one to become a firefighter, because it was reserved for white folks. Why don't you promote this right from a young age? Have coloring books and materials that kids could identify themselves as an inspector going into a home, as a firefighter, and going to put out a fire, rescuing their lives. If the cartoons and coloring books and the figures in those were of color, then the kids then could identify that, hey, this is for me.
Captain Porter himself is a living example of what cultural representation can do. From a young age, he was inspired by his uncle Ron Jones, the second full-time black firefighter in Windsor.
Going to the fire hall where he was visiting, playing around with some of the other guys, getting in trouble at the fire hall, all sorts of good stuff. I got old enough to kind of realize what it was. I was kind of, all right, I think this is something that I really, really want to do.
More Black, Indigenous, and people of color are becoming firefighters to fulfill that desire to help others. When members of the public reject help from firefighters of color, it can be emotionally scarring. Just before the pandemic, a BIPOC experience group started. Jones recalls the first meeting.
To see the reaction of some men on the job that have been on for 30 years, to open the door and look at another man that's been on for 25 years. Of course, they didn't know that, but they're just like, I didn't know you were, where do you work? How long have you been on job? Oh, I've been on 25 years. Oh, I've been on 23 years. Wow, I didn't even know you. And one of the biggest things that came from this was like, one of the guys literally was like, if I had known about you guys earlier, it would have helped me get through a lot of stuff that I've been through on the job. And that's probably one of the biggest losses of the experience group, is that we've been able to talk and really have these conversations to get stuff out that has happened to us, that are the not so nice things, and really sort of kind of bring that anger down a little bit, and sort of provide that opportunity to talk. And that's healing.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.